Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Let's get into it here. 25th. Today's 25th. It is sun sign in Libra, moon sign in Gemini, just like yesterday. So we have two air signs. Air, there's a lot of wind going around, a lot of communication, a lot of activity. That's what happens with air. So we have to make sure, the very important thing with our words and our actions, that we're saying things that help us, and we avoid saying and doing the things that hurt us. Most important thing just to be aware of, all about communication and balance. Our moon phase is 64% of the way full, making its way down to the new moon. Mayan Oracle, we're at a 4-tone day. It's called the self-existing tone. Today the serpent is the symbol for today. The kin and the guide for today is the dragon. So today would be the self-existing serpent guided by the dragon. We're in the wave spell of the wind. We'll be here all week long and into next week. The phrase for today: I define in order to survive, measuring instinct. I seal the store of life force with the self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of birth. Spaceweather.com, 416.2 kilometers per second is our solar wind for today. Planetary K index is now back down to 1, between a 1 and a 3. Coronal holes kind of about the same as yesterday, with an indication we're going to be getting hit on the 24th from the solar wind that has come off of them. So we'll be feeling that. Geomagnetic storm activity low, and M and X class flare low as well. Here's the Suspicious Observer report for today. There we go.
Good morning, folks. By now you know the news. A huge earthquake struck Pakistan, killing hundreds of people. The lowest official numbers are in the 200s. A new island was formed about a mile off the coast, a mud volcano. The story will be ongoing, and there's a brief piece at the end of this news on the lead up to this deadly Pakistan event from the vantage of an observer. This is the TRMM analysis of Paduk off the coast of Japan. It's barely skirting that coastline. That's the best possible outcome. New ISON photos are now coming in by the hour, not by the day. Best one I could find last 24 hours is this, with the false color and other effects. We have some official disagreement about the comet. Tony Phillips and the other experts claim this comet could rival Venus in about 2 months, being very visually impressive, while Bruce Gary continues to notice fading of brightness as he's guessing that Coma is being pushed into the tail. While most of you are waiting for a mega flare or pretty comet show, I'm waiting for the debris tail in mid-January and have been most concerned with that for a while. 3 hours of ISON discussion on the website. I haven't seen an opinion question about the comet in the last week that isn't answered there. Took a gamma ray burst from the Fornax constellation this morning. The solar wind is showing density drop with a continued rise in speed, so this should be the coronal hole stream. Didn't cause major instability even with that proton spike beating down the electrons. I'll disagree with the Spaceweather.com article about a localized geomagnetic disturbance as those first particles were entering our atmosphere, because there was nothing localized about it. First blue spike down on the left matches perfectly in time and is a global indicator, like the briefly present high-energy proton spike. GOES shows that flaring is still pathetic, but at least now the sunspots brought their game face. Big size down south, terrific mixing to the north. Each has half of an X-flare puzzle, but they'll need to work this out on their own as neither's crossing the equator. But forget about flares for a bit. Yesterday I showed a massive plasma filament turning onto the Earth-facing disk, but we'll never get a chance to check her out. She leaped for the stars last night, tearing away billions of tons of plasma and creating a huge coronal mass ejection that, luckily, will miss Earth. The Earth-facing coronal hole has lost most of its power, the backside opening even more powerful than what we saw 2 days ago. There's still an earthquake uptick warning, but the likelihood of a Pakistan magnitude repeat are small without any foreshock signals or increasing power returning to the Earth-facing openings. Let's take a quick look at how the quake watch came to be.
Alright, we're going to move on from here. And there you go. That's a Suspicious Observer's report for today. Alright, Reptilians, Anunnaki, Dragons in the Real World. That's the name of today's piece, following along the theme about the Reptilians. Talk about a lot of different races that are out there. The Reptilians certainly are one of them that we've heard about. The movie They Live is a good piece that really talks about a vision of what might be occurring. I know a lot of people think it's just a great sci-fi movie, which it is, but there's a lot of people who think that there's some reality to that as well. And then when we hear the stories of what's going on in life, the story you heard of Credo Mutwa, who talked about these are shape-shifting reptilian beings that came down to Earth, and you got what David Icke talks about, and all the stories, something's going on. Something's definitely going on. So I'm going to continue to delve into this subject with this piece here, Reptilians, Anunnaki, and Dragons in the Real World.
The dragon is a fabulous and universal symbolic figure found in most cultures throughout the world. Every continent on Earth, except Antarctica, has a history of dragon, serpent, and reptilian mythology. The stories of reptilian creatures date back to the earliest human writings, those of Sumer and Babylon, as well as other civilizations of ancient Mesopotamia. Among the thousands of clay tablets that have been recovered and translated are documents that record events dating back 240,000 years. One of these, the Sumerian King List, tells the story of a god, An, chief god of an extraterrestrial race called the Anunnaki, and his sons Enki and Enlil. It is clear from the texts and illustrations left by the Sumerians that at least some of these gods were reptilian in appearance. Reptilian statues and artifacts were also created by the ancient Ubaid people and discovered in what is now modern-day Iraq. It is Enki who gave the first people the fruit of the tree of knowledge and who later saved humanity by warning a Noah-like figure of the Great Flood. These stories are so similar to the Old Testament that one can only conclude that the Old Testament authors borrowed heavily from them. In the Sumerian tale, Enki is given the task of creating a worker force to help the Anunnaki till the soil and mine the ore for which they came to Earth. This he does through considerable trial and error, in the process creating strange creatures. The legend implies that Enki possessed a highly advanced technology that included the capability of genetically altering the indigenous species. Using a mysterious process to create a clay-like substance, he was able to bind upon the image of the gods, indicating that Enki used Anunnaki genes to create a hybrid species. It also implies that some of the early humans may have had a reptilian appearance. References to reptilian Anunnaki watchers, good and bad angels, and hybrid babies can be found in many ancient texts, including the Old Testament, which borrowed much from older documents, including the Book of Enoch. The prophet Enoch is mentioned in Genesis as the son of Cain and the father of Methuselah. He is believed to be one of the antediluvian patriarchs who, along with Noah, walked with God. Books written by anonymous writers but credited to Enoch were given the great credence by early Jewish scholars. Parts of the Book of Enoch, written in Aramaic, were found among the scraps of parchment in the caves of Qumran in 1947, having been placed there nearly 2,000 years ago by a Jewish sect known as the Essenes. These, of course, are the Dead Sea Scrolls. In one writing, the Book of the Watchers, we learn that the Watchers are angels and that they are good and bad watchers. We are told that the Watchers are angels of the Lord, but in the case of wicked or bad angels, the science they teach turns wicked because of their sins. Their sin is that they permit their sexual appetite to dominate them. When the evil Watchers descend and behold the daughters of man, they began to corrupt themselves. When the sons of God saw the daughters of man, they could not restrain their inclination. These Watchers fall from grace with God when Enoch travels to heaven in physical form to testify against them. He tells God that the Watchers had begun to go unto the daughters of men so that they became impure. As punishment for the sins of the evil Watchers against humankind, God destroys humanity, including the hybrid race of beings who are the offspring of the humans and the Watchers, by causing a great flood. Huangdi, or the Yellow Emperor, was the first Chinese emperor who ruled between 2697 to 2598 BC. He was said to descend to the earth in the belly of a dragon to help unify the people. In fact, the first 4 rulers of China were called the 4 Dragon Kings in Chinese mythology. They were divine rulers of the 4 seas, also representing the 4 cardinal directions. They were said to be reptilian in appearance and also had the ability to shapeshift. The Chinese, Korean, and Japanese speak throughout their history of Long, Yang in Korean, and Ryu in Japanese, or dragons, conceived of both physical and non-physical forms. The Japanese have tales of the Kappa, a reptilian humanoid. A funny side note about the Kappa: in the 3rd Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the 4 heroes travel back in time to feudal Japan. The Japanese villagers that encounter the turtles refer to them as Kappa. The lineage of humans from a race of dragons was often claimed by Asian emperors, who were believed to be able to change from human to dragon form at will, much like the modern concept of shape-shifting reptilians. In fact, to this day, the Chinese zodiac features 11 existing animals and 1 animal that comes from their so-called legends, all regarded as legit animals: the rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, pig, and dragon. The Mayans spoke and recorded history of a species of iguana men who descended from the sky, taking charge of their civilization. These beings taught them how to build their magnificent pyramids, and even instructed them to arrange them in patterns reflecting the constellations. The legendary Mayan story of Cucmats speaks of serpents of wisdom enlightening the people and sometimes even devouring the young. These visitors could explain some of the ancient astronaut theories and images from inside the Mayan temples depicting the Mayan king Pakal ascending in his rocket ship. Kukulkan was a major Mayan deity, the feathered serpent, also known as Quetzalcoatl by the earlier Toltec people from that region. The Great Pyramid of Cholula, the world's largest pyramid by volume, located in Mexico, was built to honor Quetzalcoatl. In pre-Columbian mythology, Bachu, the primordial woman, transforms into a big snake. She is also sometimes called Serpiente Celestial. Many users of the drug dimethyltryptamine, the active ingredient in many South American shamanic potions such as ayahuasca, have seen reptilian humanoids or reptilian disincarnate entities while hallucinating. The Ohio Serpent Mound is located along the Ohio Brush Creek in Adams County, Ohio. It was built sometime before 1200 BC by the Allegheny people, also known as Allegheny. The Serpent Mound was thought to be an ancient burial mound arranged after the constellation Draco, where some say these reptilian beings originate from. The Hopi Indians of northern Arizona believe in 2 original races: the children of the feather, who came from the skies, and the children of the reptile, who came from inside the earth. These undergrounders were referred to as Two Hearts, a race of reptilian humanoids called Shetty, translated Snake Brothers. John Rhodes, an active researcher of reptilian origins, has spoken to many tribal chiefs about this matter. Both Apache and Hopi tribal leaders spoke to him of the reptilians having underground bases and assisting the tribes in times of crisis. Underground cities of the reptilians are said to exist under parts of Arizona, California, and Mexico. The Zuni tribe, the Cherokee tribe, as well as other Native American tribes also hold a belief in reptilian beings or gods that came to Earth long ago. In Western Africa, the legend of the rainbow serpent, Da, says the world was created by Nana Baluku, the one god, whom Da carried in its mouth to accomplish this process of creation. After the creation of the world, Nana Baluku asked Da to coil beneath the earth to help support its mass. The Dogon people of Mali, who are claimed to be descendants of the ancient Egyptians, believe their gods, the Nomo, or the beings known as Oans, were from the Sirius constellation. They are either fish-like, amphibious, or reptilian, quite scaly in appearance. Strangely, the scaly fish-head appearance of the Oans closely resembles the Pope's hat.
Alright, very fascinating. You know, one thought that comes to mind through the course of this, we all know the story of Adam and Eve and the garden, and the serpent represents wisdom. And let's go back to gematria. Remember to talk about gematria, how you have numbers and you put numbers together and they form words, or you can letters come together to form words, and we can find out the numeric value of those words. And in gematria, one of the systems they would use is they would swap words. So one word would have a meaning, and it would get swapped with another word of the same number value, and then henceforth the same meaning. So therefore you got serpent, Messiah, Redeemer, all together, all having the same meaning. You get the phrase where Jesus says, "Be gentle as doves, wise as serpents, but gentle as doves." So there's something within the idea of the serpent which is a wisdom bringer. Okay, so something to consider in there. Now, if we think of Adam and Eve as masculine and feminine energies, or conscious and unconscious mind, it was the unconscious mind, Eve, that we hear the story was tempted by the serpent. But if we take tempted out and we just thought that she was taught by the serpent, it's the subconscious mind that gets this information and then passes it up to the conscious mind. Whatever that may work out for you, think about that. Just something I thought of and thought I'd pass along, because there's more to meets the eye with this story, okay? Something very important, and it seems like we're all going to continue to learn together on this. Alright, that's it for this section. UFO News is up next. Stay tuned.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alright, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today there are 4 stories. The first story is from St. Louis, Missouri. This comes back from the 15th. It says, new amazing video footage of multiple bright UFO lights recorded in the night sky above St. Louis on the 15th. The witness said, this is the moment a group of adults from St. Louis record bright red lights passing by overhead, with some appearing out of the sky from nowhere, while others blink while traveling at a low trajectory. The objects, which travel east to west, had all baffled to what they are, and not one person even linked them to anything explainable like aircraft, lanterns, cars, etc. So what do you think these mysterious lights are? Check those out. There's quite a bit of them. Quite a few. So are these all part of these individuals? Are these groups that are part of a craft? Don't know. The link's available so you can check it out. Over here we go to Virginia. Giant UFO cloud frightens residents in Virginia. This was on the 21st. The UFO cloaked in a cloud was sent to us by one of our readers in Virginia. The cloud hovered over the area for a few hours before moving off. I say UFO because back in '57 a U.S. Army soldier recorded a series of photos, a black ring UFO flying over him while it was making a cloud cloak all around it. Also, a UFO sighting involved more than 25 bus-sized glowing red balls. Okay. So, here's the photo. Pretty fascinating. If you recall the stories of the Bible and the Exodus from Egypt, it was a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day. Okay, so perhaps this might be the type of cloud we're talking about. Don't know. Something for you to consider. Toronto, unknown white object on Monday the 23rd while on break at work on Scarborough, Ontario. I thought I'd take some pictures facing towards Toronto as I took photographs. The Cessna float plane passing by heading north, so I took 4 pictures of this plane. Later reviewing at lunch, I noticed a long white object that was not seen with the naked eye. The unknown was caught only in this one picture at 10:05 a.m. Click here to enlarge the photo. Okay, so if we want to enlarge it, but we go here. Alright, this is our object in question. Alright, and it's down here, way down here, so that would be like down this area. Alright, so there we go, it's right there. Okay, right in this area here. Anyway, let's move on. Next I want to bring you to this site here. It's called alienresistance.org. Okay, since we're talking about reptilians and things like this, this is a good time to bring this site up, because this is a very good site. Researchers who are very well informed about what's going on. Guy Malone, Paradox Brown, Joe Jordan, very, very well informed about what's going on. And basically, let me take you through their site here. Okay, we'll go to the About Us. Let's go here, About Us. Says, this is their statement of faith. The Holy Bible is the authoritative Word of God. The Holy Scriptures alone are the final authority for determining the doctrinal truth. In its original writing, the Bible is inspired, infallible, and inerrant. Okay, so it goes through the belief, and you can find out, you read all through here, the absolute belief in God, Jesus Christ, and all, okay? We go to the what we don't believe, because that's what they do believe, and here's what they don't believe. When we started out in 1999 offering a biblical perspective and a testimonial evidence on UFO alien abduction topics online, there were only a handful of Christian websites presenting any research on the topic, and no others of which the alien UFO deception was the website's ministry primary focus. But since the rise in popularity of the internet over the past 2 decades and the explosion of social media networking sites, there are now many, many Christian websites, blogs, and ministries which teach online about the UFO alien abduction topic. Anyone who wants to teach on the alien UFO topic, whether through a website or blog or by making videos on YouTube, may now easily do so. However, we have found and would caution that some of the Christian information we've seen available on the internet is not reliable. It may not reflect keeping with the acceptable Bible-believing or academic standards of biblical interpretation. For example, treating the Word of God as the Word of God. In many cases, we observe that is a trend to offer a Christianized version of the exact same thing being taught. Okay? And here's some things it says. This being the case, here are some examples of what we do not believe and do not teach. That fallen angel human hybridization is taking place today or will take place. That fallen angels in their physical bodies look like rays, reptilians. That fallen angels or Nephilim are living amongst us looking like regular humans. Okay, these are things they do not believe. That an army of Nephilim are secretly being amassed somewhere to someday be sprung on the unwitting population, or that political leaders or celebrities are in fact fallen angels or Nephilim. And that the second heaven or third heaven is a parallel universe or dimensional that exists all around us. That fallen angels and Nephilim live in a parallel dimension. That fallen angels or Nephilim live in other planets. That some are reported alien species. Okay, so go on and on. Alright, whole bunch of things here. If you go over to the alien deception here, you can find a lot of research that they've done on the particular topic. Okay, I'll be sharing a few quotes from the famous but now deceased scientist Dr. Carl Sagan, and I wanted to point out first that Dr. Sagan was not a debunker on the possibility of extraterrestrial life. He was a strong supporter of the SETI project. Okay, we got a nice good interview with him. And lots of good information here. Got a whole series of DVDs, Ancient of Days DVDs. Site here is placed Stop the Alien Abductions, UFOs in the Bible. So lots of great information at this site. A lot of really good stuff. You know, which brings up a good point. We hear a lot of information about the extraterrestrials. Okay, something's going on out there. We've got histories that go back showing us cave paintings and carvings and all kind of monuments and information that lend us to understand that our past has been influenced by extraterrestrials. And here we are at a point in time where the stories are very vivid, very alive, and we hear stories of good guys and we hear stories of bad guys. And I think that's very important that we're aware of that. Because I know I talk a lot about the good guys that are out there, but there's also bad guys. We know that there happens to be in all different groups. Amongst Earth, we could see good and bad. The Bible talks about the battle of good and evil. So if there's the battle of good and evil, if there's evil out there and there's a battle of good and evil, that means there's also good out there. Okay? So if there's bad aliens, there's also good aliens. Okay? We have to understand and decipher the difference. We have to use our sense of discernment. And it seems that with all of what's going on in the world and all of what's going on with this agenda, the extraterrestrial agenda, we'll just use that term loosely, we could see that there's a lot going on that we're going to have to deal with, or may have to deal with this reality in our lifetimes. And if that's the case, then we're going to have to know at that point in time what we're dealing with. So I don't think any human on this planet is immune, not just human, anyone on this planet, human or inhuman, is immune from what's going on. I think we all are about to go through an experience that is going to be very profound for all of us. And so we need to understand what is taking place. We need to understand if we're being deceived, and if there's extraterrestrials that are out there that don't have our best intentions at heart. We have to understand the difference between the ones that do and the ones that don't, the good guys. Jesus Christ is a name that is well respected, and certainly a name that if there's an alien abduction going on, you use the name Jesus Christ, you can stop that abduction. You can find a peaceful solution to what is going on just by calling out the name of Jesus Christ. It's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So this site brings up all of the important things you need to know. Now, just one thought comes to mind in regards to Jesus. Jesus did live on this planet, but we know of Jesus as being more than just this planet, bigger than this planet, came down to this earth. The fact that we hear the story that Jesus came down means that he is not of this world, as he says. He is in it, he's not of it. That he is alien to earth. Just like God, not on earth, is alien to this world and many others. So Jesus would classify and fit into the category of alien, someone who's not of this world. Even though he's a spiritual being as well, we could still consider him in the alien class, but I don't think anybody would consider Jesus evil. We'd consider him one of the good guys. So we can't just look at extraterrestrials and say they're all bad, because we have to understand that there are those who are not of this planet that have come down, that have taught us, that would fall into the category of the good guys. So we just have to be aware. There's a lot of different things going on. It's a whole convoluted situation, but our sense of discernment will help get us through. And that's the most important thing that I think we all need to be aware of. All right? That's UFO news for today. I'll be right back. I've got a bunch more news. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
All right. So, if you don't know it, at this moment, there is on C-SPAN 2 a filibuster of sorts going on with Senator Ted Cruz. And he's getting some help from some others who are breaking in from time to time with some questions about what's taking place and helping him out. There's been a really good debate going on, good questions. There was Senator David Vittler from Louisiana. He brought up the good point today, and he was bringing up about how Congress is exempt, and that he is putting an amendment forth that is going to have Congress is going to have to be involved, as well as the president and the vice president, because they're trying to push this on us. And if Americans don't want it, but if they're trying to push it, they obviously believe it's something good, they should have it as well. So there's a big battle going on. So if you're interested in hearing what's going on, go to C-SPAN 2. It's going to be a couple more hours and they're going to do a vote. We're going to find out what they say. But at least you can hear what's going on. Hear the dialogue, hear the discussion, so you're aware. Don't leave it up to MSNBC to show you highlights of this and expect to hear all the truths. Don't leave it up to Fox. Don't leave it up to CNN or any of those. Go to the source, C-SPAN. Right there. They're showing it live. You can see the whole thing. Alright? So, a lot of people are getting fooled. I don't understand how we live in a country of so many intelligent individuals that have been fooled by this illusion of called Obama. But apparently intelligence really doesn't have anything to do with one's ability to be fooled. So, what does that have anything to do with? I don't know. If it's not intelligence, then maybe it's wisdom. Maybe it's learning and knowing our past. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of people being fooled, and I want to show you this piece. It goes back to 2008. This piece makes me sad to play it, and I think it's going to make you sad to hear it. Just listen to a few moments of this.
Why then has the health of my poor people not been restored? With the prophet Martin Luther King Jr., we cry out of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. From healthcare systems and industries that place profit over people. From lobbying efforts that block access to quality healthcare for all. From greed and fear that replace the reality of God's abundance and the power of community with the myths of scarcity and isolation.
Alright. That's all I can stand to hear. Do you think something's wrong with that picture? You've got people praying to Obama. Something's terribly wrong. Shame on those people doing that. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Obama is not God. Move on to the next piece. Facebook users. Hope you're ready for more surveillance. Check this out. Facebook launches artificial intelligence research campaign that will allow user activity to be understood and put into context. Awesome. Facebook is determined to know more about their 700 million users by using software to digest posts and other written messages. A technique known as deep learning uses simulated networks of brain cells to process data. The interconnected network is similar to biological brain network using nodes instead of neurons. Data extracted from messages and pictures will be used to determine emotions, explicit references, and a little more about a user's personal life. Facebook will use this technology for improved targeting of ads, news feeds, and applications. Determining the personality of Facebook's users will allow advertisers to target their advertisements only to the people who seem most interested in the products of a subject matter. Facebook could also help users organize their photos and choose which photos are best to post. Competitors like Google and Microsoft also use neural network technology to recognize human faces and provide real-time speech recognition. Microsoft has demonstrated its ability to translate English to Mandarin in real time. Facebook has certainly made a name for itself and will continue to work hard on its research to keep its superiority in social media. I'm telling you, 1984's got nothing on 2013. Oh, we've got the surveillance here only George Orwell could have dreamed about in his vision. It's amazing what's going on. It's amazing how many people are fooled down here. It's amazing. I don't understand why people are fooled so easily. Perhaps I shouldn't be frustrated by this, because I should just accept that there's a lot of weak-minded human beings that fall prey to the lies and the illusions that they are shown or they are told. It makes me sad to believe that, because those are the moments in time where I don't really have very much faith in humanity. because I see so many people being fooled. So few actually believing. But because of those few that believe, and because I know how powerful God is, I believe that those few can win, so that's where I have the faith. Unfortunately, it's not faith in humanity, it's absolute faith in God and the plan that God has before us. I feel sorry for people. I feel sorry that people go through their life so frustrated because they don't understand what's going on. You could hear the frustration in their voices because they don't understand, and that frustration leads to anger. I don't get it. But I want to move on. This piece here is Thor News about Comet ISON and a new companion traveling with it. Here we go.
This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents Comet C2012 S1 ISON and WTF Earth. Seriously, bro.
Part 34. Comet ISON makes friends with near-Earth giant asteroid Eros. I'd like to thank the folks over at the Slough for giving us this wonderful shot of ISON and what appears to be Eros. Well, golly, color me totally surprised. Comet ISON has an asteroid friend. Well, actually, I'm not surprised at all. At this point, Comet ISON could come with a giant spaceship of cherry jello filled with toe-eating aliens, and I wouldn't be shocked. I've prepared myself for anything. Now, many of the amateur professionals have said that this companion with ISON is Eros, E-R-O-S. Some people have said that don't make sense, because Eros is way out there. So hey, why don't we take a look at some orbits? That's what we're going to do right now. Okay, great. At first, everybody started to freak out because it looked like Comet ISON had a giant asteroid partner with it. But then, when our usual suspects of up-to-date, by-the-book scientists, amateur scientists stepped in, like Astromut and Hydra, over at the GLP, they let us know, hey, there's no doom, there's no fear. It is asteroid 433 Eros, the second largest near-Earth asteroid after 1036 Ganymede. Eros was discovered in 1898. It was the first near-Earth asteroid discovered. And it was also the first asteroid to be orbited by a probe. I hear that human beings do not like to be probed by aliens. I wonder if asteroids feel violated when they are probed by human beings. Is that irony? Can somebody please call Alanis Morissette? I need to know now. I cannot move forward until I know. Is that irony? It belongs to the Amor group, and Amor means love. Eros is a Mars crosser asteroid, the first known to come within the orbit of Mars. Eros is named after the Greek god of love. Isn't it funny that a lot of scientists are atheists, but they name all their celestial bodies after gods? That's weird, huh? I'm not going to say that scientists are atheists. I don't know. That was a dumbass statement. See, sometimes I can be a total dumbass. Hey, did you know that Eros' surface gravity depends on the distance from the spot of the surface? Huh? What? Okay. As one of the larger near-Earth asteroids, Eros has played a significant role in history. Oh wow, here's our favorite word, ladies and gentlemen, parallax. During the opposition of 1900 to 1901, a worldwide program was launched to make parallax measurements of the asteroid to determine the solar parallax. Wow, that really is a word? You mean they weren't making that crap up? Okay, great. The value obtained by this program was considered definitive until 1968, when greater faith was placed in radar and dynamical parallax methods. Alright, this is a good omen. That means love is coming along with ISON. And that is great. I'm sure it's just some optical illusion because Eros is closer, probably smaller. But it's neat that ISON and Eros are on like a lover's path, shall we say. So it's doom off still, but pretty interesting no less. Hey, did you know that Eros is the sun of Mercury and Venus? And unlike the abundant main belt asteroids which orbit the sun in a vast torus between Mars and Jupiter, near-Earth asteroids are thought to be dead comets or fragments from the main belt asteroid collision. The closest approach of Eros to Earth in the 20th century was on January 23rd, 1975, at approximately 0.15 AU. That means astronomical units. Eros is known to be compositionally varied. One side appears to have a higher pyroxene content and a facet-like surface, while the opposite side displays higher olivine content and convex-shaped surface. There is no air and no evidence of water on Eros. Eros is one of the S-type asteroids. It's salacious. Whoa, that sounds sexy. Sweet. Eros' Roman counterpart was Cupid. Some myths make him a primordial god, and other myths he's the son of Aphrodite. Either way, the whole world could use a lot more amor, more amor, my love, more amor. And here, Cupid is usually a young adult rather than a child. I guess they thought it would be less threatening to have a cherub shooting people with arrows. If you had a young adult shooting people with arrows, you might be mistaken as a terrorist. Anyway, the world needs more love, that's for sure. It's good to know that ISON has a friend and a companion, even if they are just two ships passing in the night. One is a dirty snowball, and the other one is just a dirty rock? I don't know. How come they don't have some cute, clever kindergarten name for asteroids, you know? I want to know. Okay, great. But no matter what, it's going to be interesting. All right, great. Well, if you ask me, Eros looks more like a giant potato than a god of love. But I'm willing to go with the Eros is a god of love thing, and that this is just a good omen, so do him off for now. But either way, I have no idea what is going on. These are strange times indeed. I want to thank everybody for watching, and you need more amor, my love. Peace out. God bless. Stay cool. Don't let the haters get you down, because that makes them happy. It's the only thing that makes them happy, I think. That and maybe Pop-Tarts and Hot Pocket. Okay, great. I once heard a song, and the chorus was, you need more amor, my love. Fitzroy wrote the music. I just wrote the lyrics. I don't want him to get mad, yo. Okay, God bless everybody. Double peace out.
All right. There you go. Interesting perspective from Thor News, as always. All right, moving right along. The other day, got a little brief bit of information about this, but the other day, Pakistan had the earthquake, may have created a new island off the coast. When the deadly 7.8 earthquake, and here it's been moved down to 7.7, struck the southern Pakistan on Tuesday, it caused destruction across remote mountainous Arwin district. However, at the same time, it also seems to have performed an act of creation, as it apparently found a new island just off the country's southern coast. According to reports, the new island is small, rising between 6 to 12 meters above the water, and is estimated to be around 30 meters wide. It is located in the Arabian Sea near the port of Gwadar, about 75 kilometers east of the Iran-Pakistan border. Officials are investigating the island's sudden appearance. Earthquake can certainly cause the ocean floor to rise and fall, but it's possible that this is the first time anyone has seen it create a new island. Very interesting, huh? Very interesting. So, what's interesting about this is there wasn't any major tsunamis that we heard about coming out of Pakistan, yet something rose out of the sea. So, very interesting. Maybe our models of things need to change. But check this out. Edgar Cayce made a prediction. A long time ago, people thought Edgar Cayce's predictions weren't accurate. Well, this one now has come to reality. Edgar Cayce's prophecy, new lands rise up from the sea, happened today after the 7.8 Pakistan earthquake. After the 7.8 earthquake on Tuesday, a new island rose up from the sea, witnessed by a large crowd of onlookers. The island is mountainous, rose up approximately 100 feet. It was seen near the Gwadar coastline. Edgar Cayce predicted that lands would sink into the ocean, as well as lands would rise up from the sea. He predicted a possible pole shift as well as major changes during these times. The earthquake was felt all the way to New Delhi. Alright, so, for those of you who didn't think Edgar Cayce was accurate, maybe you need to reconsider, because something occurred here that he said was going to happen. Something rose out of the sea. Now, turmeric. Ever used turmeric? Here's an article about turmeric. Turmeric is one of the most thoroughly researched plants in existence today. Its medicinal properties and components, primarily curcumin, have been the subject of over 5,600 peer-reviewed and published biomedical studies. In fact, our 5-year-long research project of the sacred plant has revealed over 600 potential preventative and therapeutic applications, as well as 175 distinct beneficial psychological effects. The entire database of 1,585 NCBI hyperlinked turmeric abstracts can be downloaded as a PDF. There's a link right here. And acquired either as a retail item or with 200 GMI tokens for those who are already members and receive them automatically each month. Given the sheer density of research performed on this remarkable spice, it's no wonder that a growing number of studies have concluded that it compares favorably to a variety of conventional medications. Alright, and all these different medications that it could take the place of, from things like Prozac, aspirin, steroids, cortisones, okay? So lots of interesting things that can come from this plant. It's amazing, you know. If we just pay attention to what the earth provides to us, it provides healing that we need in many, many, many ways. Alright, so all we need to do is we need to listen to the earth more. Listen to the earth, not destroy the earth. Listen to the earth. It's very important. Alright, Book of Revelation, today chapter 18. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hole of the foul spirits, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and all the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double, according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much has she glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord who judgeth her. The kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off from the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city Babylon, the mighty city, in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver, and precious stones and marbles, and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, and the manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments, and frankincense and wine and oil, and fine flour and wheat, and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and godly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them there no more at all. The merchant of these things, we were made rich by her, shall stand afar off the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster, and all the company in ships and sailors, and many of your trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust in their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city wherein we were made rich, all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness, in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians, and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman or whatever shall be craft shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of the candle shall sound no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets of the saints, and all that were slain upon the earth. That is Revelation 18. It's quite a story, isn't it? has a lot of different, in reading it, makes me think about Atlantis and what went on there. It makes me think also of the times that we're going through, and you realize that we go through cycles. Maybe it's the same cycles of corruption that we all go through that are known to happen. Maybe humankind is immune, or not immune, but maybe humankind is not immune from this, and we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Why are we here at the same place? Why are we dealing with the same thing if we've learned the lesson? Apparently we haven't. Apparently there's too many greedy individuals in the world that don't want to move forward. And it's too bad that many people don't really take time to understand the worship of some of these churches that are out there, and the music and the movies and the things that all continue to promote devil worship. And yet people are blinded by that. They don't realize. They watch Miley Cyrus and they think that that's normal. That's a girl possessed. You got all these rock stars that are possessed, these rock and rollers. You got commercials out there where people are, let's go see Katy Perry. Katy Perry, by her own words, admitted that she sold her soul to Satan. Yet there's a commercial on there encouraging people to go to those concerts. Over and over, our society is encouraging people to go to places where people are doing satanic or demonic things. There's a problem. Problem is, we've come to the end of the road with this. Problem is, for all those who are following the darkness, that's where the problem is, because the light's returned, the darkness is on its way out, and it's going to be sad that so many individuals are going to be wiped off of this planet because they chose to go the path of corruption. But we have to be grateful for the fact that the corruption will be gone, and knowing that those souls will have an opportunity to be recycled and try it again. We got to do something, folks. We got to just stay focused. Stay focused on the good. Forget about the bad. Here is the message from Yeshua.
Yeshua and the Company of Heaven. The sky is the limit.
Channeled by Franzapeta, September 23, 2013.
Hello, our dear illustrious ones. You have made it through yet another significant marker of your journey into and of ascension, and the energies are settling within you and about you, and reveal and represent and portend a significant jump in your vibration both individually and collectively. The universe is expansive. But your energies are also expansive, and you are realizing that you can be as big in your energy as the universe and even beyond that to the multiverses. The expansion of your energies is so immense right now. As it settles and integrates, be prepared for many insights and inroads into a new way of living. You have left the old behind in so many aspects and so many connotations of the concept of duality. You have been allowed by your own intentions to open the doors of your proverbial cage of duality and can now breathe free and soar through the door into many vistas of beautiful realities and possibilities, and yes, into the unknown. But dear ones, you are ready for that, you are prepared. All the work you have done up to now to discard all that does not serve you is paying off big time. You have hit the jackpot, so to speak. For in letting go and of your hold on limiting concepts and beliefs and fears, you have opened up your energy for so many possibilities and new experiences that it would take a while to categorize it, to quantify it, and to appreciate it. Consider this a parting of the gates, dear ones, a parting of the energetic gates that held you captive into a reality that was only constructed for your learning and experience. You are laying down all the posts and apparatus holding you within that confinement, and you can now feel the fresh new breeze of a new vista before you. And the possibilities are endless. We have told you this before, but the magnitude of that you are just beginning to embrace. The sky is the limit, dear ones, so where do you go from here as you are streaming out of the gates of your confinement into a beautiful new world of light and love and magnificent colors and sounds and textures and tastes? You have cleansed your palate, so to speak, and now you prepare for a luxuriant exotic feast of exquisite colors and form, and all things to delight you, in a whole new world of stepped-up dimension. Clear your eyes and be prepared to witness a change in your perception and in your acceptance of entirely new ideas and abilities that are waiting for you, that are before you now. What we are attempting to show this channel is a little bit overwhelming to her, and words are hard-pressed to show and reveal what we are trying to share with her and you, dear ones. So take away the words now and just feel and experience a feeling of complete lightness and vivid colors and exuberant joy and such openness to expanding possibilities. It is as if you can now mold any thought into reality right now, if you would feel it so deeply in your heart, and believe it so deeply in your heart, that it becomes so real to you. Remember, you have left your cages, left your confinements of yesterday's duality. Now, what do you wish to mold and create as you step out into the fresh, clean, light, colorful air of the fifth dimension and higher and see things from the perspective from which we see them? It will take a bit of practice and acceptance and allowance, but do not forsake yourself, and instead allow yourself to experience the lighter air, which is only commensurate to your light body, your crystalline body that is well on its way to fruition. Give yourselves time now to assimilate all the energies that you have allowed to enter your bodies and your fields, and continue to accept and assimilate them as the days go on. It may require you to shift your vision of what you will do in your days. It may require you to shift your expectations of what you will do with your days. It may require you to shift your perceptions moment by moment. It may require you to anchor into the stillness of the now moment much more regularly. And it may require you to let loose of any control that would bring you back to familiar territory. But just go with it. You will get the hang of it, dear ones. We have utter faith in your abilities to adapt to this new milieu of your new reality. Give yourselves time to adapt. And we leave you now with these thoughts and these images to carry you further along your ascension path. Know always that we love you deeply. Please take this in deeply, as you allow yourselves to love yourselves even more deeply with each passing moment, as you allow yourselves to love your neighbor and all upon this planet and the universes even more deeply, with each passing moment. And we leave you now also with the encouragement to honor yourselves, to honor your magnificent divine nature, as you honor the divinity in others. Namaste. Your loving brother, Yeshua and the company of heaven.
Alright, very nice as always. Alright, let's listen to our angel let's read our angel message for today. The message is, stop for a little while. You've been helping everyone else, but you need to take time to recharge your batteries. It's very important, you know. We go through the world and there's many of us trying to help, and many of us are caught up with the frustrations of trying to help because, you know, all the frustrations that are out there. Well, sometimes we just have to realize and leave people to their own devices. Sometimes we have to realize that we have to take care of ourselves. First and foremost, make sure that we're energized, because if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we can't be a proper example to anybody else. So very good advice. Take care of who we are so we can help others to understand more about who they are. Alright, meditation time. Let's go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. Okay, turn on all of the chakras. Top of the head, violet. The light moves down to the third eye, indigo. Down to the throat, blue. Down to the heart, green. Down to the solar plexus, yellow. Right at the belly button, orange. And the base of the spine, red. Imagine yourself filled with all of this light. And as you look around the world and you look around at the people around you, you see that not everyone is taking the time out to fill themselves with light or activate their chakras. Many walk around blind in the world to what is taking place, focused only on how much money they're going to make, or how are they going to survive that day. And so, as we look around, we feel compassion for those who are not understanding, because we see their frustration, we feel their frustration. So to all of them we send love, and we send light, and we pray that their eyes are open to truly see what is going on out there in the world, to truly see the problems that we are facing as they really are, and to have the strength to be able to stand up against those problems, to fix them, We pray that each and every being upon this planet understands the hero that lives within them. And they know that it's time for the hero to stand up, to stand for what is right. Let's imagine looking at the world and seeing the world and understanding that there are those who are purposefully sending forth dark energy into the world. We know who they are. Unfortunately, they are leaders in all of our communities around the world. But we also know that there are many good, positive beings out there as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to send light to all of those who are expressing the darkness, to all of those who continue to promote the darkness. We send light to them right at this moment. And we watch one by one as they fade from existence, as the light completely dissolves the darkness. And we imagine our planet without all of these beings who are creating problems. We imagine that all of their souls have an opportunity to rethink what they were doing so they can send love into the world and be recycled as love, be recycled as something positive. We have compassion for them that they chose the path that they chose. But as warriors, we act swiftly and we strike quickly with light, and we have no remorse when they dissipate and disappear from this planet. Now let's imagine this planet filled with so much love that all the fears and all the doubts cannot live. And let's imagine this entire planet being transformed into love. And every being upon this planet feeling love, opening their hearts to love, sharing love with others. And let that love be enough. Let that love be enough. So as the subconscious mind goes out into the world today, let's continue sending love out into the world to each and every one. Love is your greatest strength. Love is our greatest strength, so let's use it each and every day. So the subconscious mind will continue on that journey of love, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take a deep breath and exhale. Open your eyes. That's it, my friends. Thank you very much for being here again today. Appreciate you taking the time to check out the show. I appreciate all the comments, your emails, your postings, and what have you. If you go to Facebook, our Facebook page, there's a video I put up yesterday dealing with the subjects of basically history of America, the New World Order, and so on. Check that video out. It's like 2 hours long. Well worth the watch. Anyway, that's it, my friends. Keep thinking positive. We can make the changes in the world we want. We just have to keep thinking positive, and one by one, others will turn their attention to the positivity and turn their back on the negativity. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, have an awesome day. Love you. God bless. Peace. I'm out of here.